Excited to play Ole Miss here at home. Uh, Early morning game. I'm happy we played last week early. It'll prepare us a little bit better for this week. Really good football team. Obviously well coached with Coach Kiffin. Uh, Seemed like this year a little bit different. They've always played well on defense, but you're looking at number one rush defense in the country and number one against points given allowed in the country. Very, very good. Their front is deep, very good. They're very uh, good at every position on the D line. Their linebackers are playing well. Pooh Paul's their leading tackler. He's playing extremely well, and they're just really good defensively. And you think about Ole Miss, you think about offense, and then you go over on offense, and they have Jackson Dart, who's really good. Trey Harris, who didn't play last week, but we're expecting him to be there uh, this week. And then their running back has 650 plus yards. So just a really good football team that's very explosive and like I said before, their defense is playing extremely well. We're looking forward to. I think the house is going to be packed here on Saturday, and we're excited that the fans are out here supporting us and happy about that.
Okay. Yeah, Coach, looking back at the film, was there anything that jumped out to you that didn't during the game? And specifically on defense, anything that you identified since y'all played so well up to that point?
Well, um, we had 11 explosives, which we've got to figure out. Some of them were on the bubbles that we've got to stop that. We lost contain on the bubbles, which can't happen. It looked like, well, the safety's fitting in the wrong gap. He's not. He's fitting in the gap he should if we turn the ball back inside. And when we did, Landon and the linebackers ran it down. So there was a problem there. We have to get that fixed. The great thing is we basically got 7 turnovers. We had 5, and then the 2 fourth down that they didn't convert. So there is a lot of good things in those. With the second play of the game where we get the sack fumble by Landon and then go score. A lot of big things that the defense did. Basically, in a nutshell, I didn't think we finished the game in the second half. Our tackling wasn't as good as what it had been in the past. A lot of that goes with Trey. We didn't have as many guys around the ball. We've missed tackles in the past, but we've had somebody else clean it up. And so we'll go work hard on that. But I was very happy with the turnovers that they got and the 2 big fourth down stops that the defense got as well. But we gave up too many explosives, so we've got to figure that out. And a lot of that was either gap being out of the proper gap or our tackling. So we've got to work really hard on that this week.
And any changes with personnel from this past week to now?
Um, I don't think so. I mean, Kudish started. I think him and Blackstock will be there. Our tight ends are our tight ends that played. No, I don't think we'll. I think Jaquinta Jackson will be doubtful again this week. I think Rodney Hill will be probable, um, and Jalen Braxton will be doubtful as well.
That's everything.
Injury wise, yes.
Coach, with the transfer portal partially responsible for the balance in the SEC this year, you have Kentucky going to Ole Miss winning, Vanderbilt beat Alabama. I mean, do you feel like maybe that's helped balance the SEC out a little bit?
I think so. I mean, first of all, I don't think any of us really know what kind of team we have until you get out there and play. And because there's so and it's not like bringing in 25 freshmen. Now you're going to bring in 20 or so. This is like bringing in 10, 15 guys that can change immediately because they're older, they've played. And so I do think that has a lot to do with it. I do.
Is there I got a message this morning, you suspended 2 players. Is there any truth to that, Coach?
No, they're not on the team. There was no suspension. They're gone. Yeah, they're not on the team.
Somebody here.
With Tyrus Washington and
Oh,
Combs. Yeah.
all right. The series with Ole Miss, has been pretty competitive with you and Lane both at your spots, and you've won the home games. What maybe stands out to you about playing those guys and maybe the atmosphere and the rivalry, so to
Well,
speak?
I think it's a lot of fun. You know, we've had 4 games now, and of course the first one was a Hudson Clark. 3 picks and 7 turnovers, and the next one was I went for 2 and we didn't make it, and then the next year gets us bowl eligibility, and we dominated that game from the beginning. They came back on us in the second half, and then last year game was certainly a tight game with I believe we were tied maybe in the fourth there and end up losing, but all 4 games have been very competitive, and I'm looking for the same type of situation on Saturday.
Yeah, speaking of Hudson, so he started and he was involved in 2 turnovers. I just wonder what your evaluation of his play was and what it means to have him back in the rotation.
Well, he's so important to our team as a leader, but also, like you just spoke of, he can play so many different positions. Right now, we feel like corner is that spot because that's what we need. Probably need to play Jaheim Singletary a little bit more, which we will Saturday, but not necessarily for Hud. I'm just saying we need to play him a little bit more. But Hudson seems to always be around the football, and a guy that we know that we can count on, and we have a lot of trust and belief in him. Been here a long time.
I guess, another challenge. I think Miss Ole Miss is right up there in number of sacks, on defense. Just what are some of the challenges that the front's going to come across this week that are maybe different?
Yeah, it's a good question. They're going to be big challenges. I mean, they're good. Every spot up there, they're good. I mean, real good. And some of that is, we're going to have to run the football and stay out of some long situations. We're going to have to play well at tackle, play well inside, which we're playing better. But that is a big challenge for us. And, we may have to throw a draw in there, a screen here and there to try to slow that pass rush down, have different snap counts because they obviously are very, very talented.
I know it's different programs, different coaches, different rosters, but looking at some of Boise State's numbers with Talon the past couple of years, the tight ends weren't really heavily involved. And then this week they catch 4 touchdowns. Has that been something you've had to work with him on, is maybe targeting tight ends, or was this just a product of the matchup this week?
No, I mean, if you look at it, most of those plays with the tight end, they were wide open. It was either, the 4th and 1, pass to Luke, which was wide open. We had a couple of roll passes, naked rolls, waggle rolls where they were open, but Bobby and the offensive staff specifically went to that because we felt like they may be open. Sometimes it doesn't work out like you plan, but no, we know we have Posca. It was really good to see. Luke has really, really good to see. We've always had good belief in those guys, and they've been one in progressions, several routes for whatever reason, whether it be protection breakdowns or whether it be we didn't get open. But we did on Saturday, and it was really, really, really cool to see that, the tight ends caught 4 touchdowns.
And how valuable was R-Dub's performance? Because I know Braylon had the big day,
Yeah,
but
big time. That's, as we know, R-Dub had a suspension, and during that suspension, he was outstanding. And then when he came back, had such a great hard-working attitude, and for him to go get it right at 100 yards, it was very, very fulfilling. I'm sure for him, but it was also for me and the team, and I'm just really happy for him, and he's a valuable part of our football team.
Heading into Tennessee, Talon was hovering around 55% completion rate wise. The past three games, all over 65%, up near 70. Just how have you seen him continue to develop efficiency wise throughout the season?
I think people around him have played better. And, when you run the ball and your play action becomes better and your time to throw the football and to get open becomes better. But I think he's just playing really confident right now. I think Saturday helped him as well. We ran him a little bit more Saturday than what, obviously our plan wasn't against Tennessee. We didn't want to, he wasn't at full strength that game. But, I think his confidence is just going up, and we're learning more about what he can do, what he likes to do. But I thought, just when you said that, I thought there was a couple of runs that he hit, and then I thought his pass to Jordan Anthony was really really a really good pass there, and his 4th and 2 that he made. Uh, um, 4th and 2 that he went 45 yards on, but we got the 2 yards. I thought that was an outstanding play as well. But I think he's just playing really confident because of the guys around him. I think are playing playing better as well.
And then the Ole Miss game is obviously always big for the Metcalf family. Just what have TJ and Tevis meant to you and to this program?
They're doing a great job. Great kids. I mean, they're hard workers, great kids, good football players as well. All those things. But mom and daddy raised them to be great human beings. They're great kids, and obviously had an opportunity to go in there and get them to come play for us. And I hope they have a great game.
Sam, if you look at SEC play, you won a game, then lost, won, lost. I'm curious, what's the key to maybe carrying over the momentum from this past game and putting together back-to-back wins?
Well, sometimes it depends on who you're playing, matchups. But I think right now we're health of your team. But I think right now we're pretty healthy. We have 3 in a row at home. We're not worried about the second and third, but we do have 3 in a row at home. Early kickoff. I think it's just how we prepare. We're cutting back not a ton this week, but a few minutes of practice, trying to make sure our legs are there, make sure that we take the right guys to the party, and we're very aware of that. In the past we'd been very good coming off of bye weeks, and obviously got beat by LSU off of it. So we're aware of this week's so important to us, and then we're aware that there's a bye after it. So we're taking just a little bit off of that to make sure that we're fresh. But it's all about the preparation. And as you've seen in college football, I think most games are determined on who turns the ball over and who doesn't. And I think it's been that way forever. But this year, it just seems like if you win the turnover battle, you win. And I'm not for sure it matters what the names of the teams are. And so we've got to really concentrate on that too. And the one, obviously I think we're 5-0 in games that we've had been even or won the turnover battle, and we're 0-3 when we lost it. So we're going to harp on that this week as well, give us a better chance to win.
And with the 2 tight ends no longer being on the team, do you feel good that Has and Poshka can handle the workload there? Or do you foresee someone else maybe stepping up and having on a bigger role?
Well, yeah, yes, I think they can. But I have a lot of, and Maddox has played, last year's played a lot of ball. So I have a lot of confidence in him. And then we also got Josh Street ready when we were banged up a little bit, and we'll have a few more ideas for that position. But yes, absolutely, I think they can, and I think they will, and I think they showed that on Saturday as well, and along with Lassiter. And I think Lassiter's role we may have to give him a few more responsibilities, maybe some online. We haven't used him a lot there, but obviously we believe in him because he's played a lot of ball for us.
You mentioned the importance of tackling well this week, Coach. Obviously, Ole Miss has a lot of weaponry with the different receivers and the big tight end
Yeah.
and the running backs.
He's a good player too.
Yeah, and the quarterback's a veteran too. So
And
how how important is that to just tackle soundly throughout this game?
I think it's important to play extremely hard and extremely smart. When we do that, our effort hasn't really been a problem. I think if you ask T. Will, myself, whomever, the kids, I think we lost a little bit of focus in the second half. We haven't played with a big lead like that, and those are things we have to learn from. Hutch, like you're talking to me about, those are some things that we have to learn from, and hopefully we get a whole bunch of chances to learn from it. But you're right; they have a lot of weapons. We're going to have to break down on them. We're going to have to get a lot of guys around the ball because you can't just go, okay, we need to stop that guy. There's too many of that guys that you have to stop. So we're going to have to be really, really good on defense, really sound, and run to the football, and the tackling, I think, will take care of itself.
Yeah, Sam, I wanted to ask you a little more about Hudson. That big game, the 2020, the 3-pick. I kind of put him on the map. Some guys are one-hit wonders, but he's really taken that and carved out a really nice career. Well, first of all, what do you remember about that game and how cool it was? And then just what have you thought about how he's built on that over the years?
I remember that he got his third interception and got up like that. I remember that. I remember that the game was pretty much in hand, and they faked a field goal. It was on me because we should have been in safe, and I wasn't. And they a punt. We should have been safe, and they got it and made it a little more interesting. And then Grant Morgan picked the pass and scored. I remember all those things about that. And then I remember walking off the field and fans were crying. And there wasn't many because it was like 7 to COVID, but they were crying. And I was asked Kyle why they were crying. He said, we hadn't won an SEC game here for like 2.5 years. I said, okay, well, I'll start crying too. I mean, it was but I remember all those things, and then I remember on Sunday I called Hud in, and he had earned that scholarship that we gave him, and was able to give him a scholarship.
And how he's built on that, he's carved out pretty nice.
Really has. I mean, he's so valuable. Because he knows, like I said earlier, because he knows every spot in the secondary, and he's so valuable. And we have huge belief in him, and he's certainly earned that, and he's a good special teams player as well. We've kind of taken him off a little bit of special teams simply because he got back was banged up a little bit, but just. Him and I think Eric Gregory are the two, and I may have missed one, but I think they're the two that have been here my entire career here too.
They're actually sixth year guys.
Yeah.
And then as I saw on the SEC site, Talon's and Braylon both got co-SEC offensive player and running back. It seems like Arkansas always has to do coast stuff. I guess that's just the way it is. But just want to know what your thoughts on those guys getting SEC.
Yeah, that's really nice. I think they'd both tell you that they had to have blocking, and they had to have catching, and they had to have all that around them. But for getting an individual award, I think they would think it's pretty neat, and they'd say that the players out on the field helped them get that as well. But I'm happy for them.
And Dart on Ole Miss putting up just crazy numbers. I think it's his third year now, so you've obviously seen a fair amount of him. Just what's your take on Dart?
He got to graduate sometime. He got to get out of there.
I think it's his last year. Just what are your thoughts on the season he's having?
Outstanding. The thing that you don't really realize with him, oh, maybe you do, but his ability to run. I mean, he can throw. I mean, he's got Mahomes-like stuff in him. I'm comparing the magic throws that he makes because he can make them. I mean, you're going, how do he shovel this? But he can, where he's super dangerous as well is that he can run, and he's very, very competitive and very, very confident, and he's the type of guy you want leading your program.
I had a question about how Kudus and Blackstock graded out. Did both of them, how they contributed?
Yeah, they both played well. Kudus played a few more snaps than Blackstock did. Both of them had great attitudes about their situation. As we're moving forward, we'll continue to evaluate that. But they both played well. I was Curtis played exceptional for his first game back. He played really well.
And I had another question about Jaquindon. Would he have a chance to be back this year? And
Yes,
okay.
absolutely. Yeah, and I think, I mean, if he's not back Saturday, I'm very confident that he'll be back for the remainder 3 games after the bye.
How much of a difference maker is it? I know Andrews had a great year, but when Talen's finding different receivers
Yeah.
and getting everybody involved like he did Saturday.
How about the 2-minute drive? I think he went to Tesla 3 in a row. And I think and Broden's catching balls that honestly he didn't earlier in the year. I mean, catching it and getting whacked and holding on to the ball and all that. So and then now you're adding in the 2 tight ends. We're running some flare screen type passes out to the backs, and everybody's catching the ball well. And so I think again I think to his question, I think that really builds up the confidence in a quarterback as well as the protection. But I think it's a big deal that we can go to 6, 7 guys. Jordan Anthony catching football, which he hadn't done, getting his first touchdown as a Hog. So yeah, I think all those things play into that.
You mentioned last week that you would like to redshirt Kudus if possible, but as well as he played on Saturday, I mean, how do you have a plan for that? How does that work?
I have a plan to play him 4 games. So we're going to try to play him on Saturday, and that'll be 2. And then we'll try to figure that out. But the deal that we talked about was he wanted a red shirt. And I said, hey, now, we ain't trying to red shirt you for somebody else, And I said, no, coach, I would never, I'm a Hog. I want to be here. But I also, he kind of lost that freshman year in special team. Didn't lose it, but it was special team. Didn't play a lot of offensive line. This would be our way of getting that back. But we're going to play him Saturday. How about that? And then we have 2 more opportunities to figure out 2 out of 3.
Yes, Sam. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, Bob. Sam, on the who to steal or for anybody that matter, but is there a rule that he can play if he played 4 games in the regular season, if he played a bowl game, would he be eligible to do that, would not count against his year?
Yeah, and you know what's happened a little bit with the portal and guys playing with, some of the bowls have been not laughable. It's sad, actually. You got 60 guys and you got a quarterback out there numbered, 97, is playing quarterback. So I'm glad that they've given that back. But you have 4 games, and then any postseason doesn't count towards eligibility as far as losing your red shirt. And so we're trying to actually, we had 6 guys on our team. Please don't ask me who they are because I don't know it right off the bat, but we have 6 guys that we actually talked about, and Kudus was one of them, but Braxton was one of them. He's played in 2, when he's able to get back. And so there were 6 of them that were going, okay, offensively, hey, Bobby, Eric, Branham, Kobe, he's played in 1 game now. He has an opportunity to play in 4 more. What do we want to do with him? Well, the answer is we'd love to have him come back 4 years. He's not going to leave us. I mean, he's an Arkansas kid, diehard, mom and daddy too. And so those things that we went over this week just to make sure where we were, and there's about 6 of them we have to make choices on.
Just make sure it wasn't a 1-year rule. I
Yeah.
thought I'd remembered that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it went in when we went to Liberty Bowl that year, because I remember we had a guy or 2 that was right there and they were eligible to play in the game. And we needed them to because we were, depleted.
Sam, they got a defensive tackle, Pegs or Poigs. He's had his 5 rushing touchdowns for Ole Miss.
Yeah,
I just wondered.
he's huge.
Yeah, I was wondering, do you have to devote some practice time?
Yes.
I just wonder, as a line guy, what your take is on that?
He's freaking good, man. He's big. He's skilled. I haven't seen this year if they've tried to throw a pass with him, back there. But I mean, that guy, he's got great hands because he can catch the snap, and once he gets motoring downhill, he's he's hard to stop. And I mean, what a great idea by their offensive staff to use him, because he's hard to stop back there on short yardage.
I was watching, is that just violation of team rules, or can you
Yes.
shed any light on that? Just the reasoning?
Yes.
Do they have an option to
No.
come back?
No.